The movie begins with an elderly couple discussing the financial burden of their daughter Rosalba's upcoming wedding. Desperate to cover the expenses, they consider taking a loan from Jeremiah, a wealthy but evil man known for his shady business practices. When they are informed about him, they are also advised to avoid him as he charges exorbitant fees, often equivalent to the entire loan amount. Jeremiah is ambitious, yet lacking in principles or morals. Money is his means of controlling and manipulating people's lives. Despite pretending to be a family friend, he has ulterior motives to interfere in the family members' lives and make critical decisions on their behalf. One day, Jeremiah visits his friend Sylvia and meets Bilana, a hard-working young migrant from Romania. Bilana, a 22-year-old widow, is diligent and full of energy. Sylvia suggests that Jeremiah invite her to his house and consider a life together. Seeing Bilana as a potential remedy for his lonely existence as an old bachelor, Jeremiah offers her a place to stay. However, communication becomes challenging since Bilana doesn't understand Italian. Following this, Jeremiah takes Bilana to his home where he resides with his ill mother. The house is old, messy, and plagued by a leaking ceiling, which frightens Bilana. Hence, without informing anyone, she escapes the place. In addition to his money-lending activities, Jeremiah also works in a tailor shop. However, his involvement goes beyond sewing clothes. Sometimes, clients approach him for loans to fund plastic surgery. Instead of getting their measurements taken, Jeremiah takes his time in deciding whether to grant the loan. One client threatens to go to his competitor, a person nicknamed Pirate, which greatly concerns Jeremiah, and he immediately approves the grant. Moving forward, a young couple appeals to Jeremiah for a loan to cover their sick child's medical expenses. Instead of providing the loan directly, Jeremiah suggests a doctor who owes him money. He cleverly exploits his knowledge and connections to manipulate the situation in his favor. After work, Jeremiah spends time with his business associate, Gino, who dreams of going to the United States and living a luxurious life with a beautiful wife by his side. Gino assists Jeremiah by gathering information about clients and their ability to repay loans. In particular, he assesses their background and financial capability. On his way home, Jeremiah stops at a shop and discreetly steals food by hiding them in his coat. At the checkout, he shrewdly asks for a discount on a single candy, and the weary saleswoman unknowingly gives it to him for free, oblivious to the fact that he has also stolen other items. That evening, a beauty contest takes place in town, and Rosalba participates in it. Surprisingly, she wins, bringing immense joy to her mother. As Rosalba's wedding is approaching and her father, Severio, is struggling financially, someone suggests they seek help from Jeremiah. However, they also warn him about Jeremiah's dishonesty and meddling nature. They explain that if he can't repay the loan on time, Jeremiah will demand 3 times the borrowed amount, and the consequences could be unpredictable. Despite the warnings, Severio feels compelled to ask Jeremiah for assistance, as he has no other options. The following day, Jeremiah arrives at the young couple's house, accompanied by his men. The couple owes him money and couldn't make the installment payment on time. In desperation, the wife, Donna, offers some of her jewelry. However, it is not enough to cover the debt, and the greedy moneylender seizes even their kitchen appliances. Before leaving, Jeremiah notices Donna looking nervous, keeping her hands in her pockets. Intrigued, he approaches her and searches her pockets, discovering a wedding ring she was trying to protect. Despite Donna's pleas, Jeremiah heartlessly takes the ring, leaving her with nothing. In the next scene, an elderly woman visits Jeremiah's tailor shop, urgently seeking 9,000 euros for a life-saving surgery. Jeremiah doubts her ability to repay such a large sum and denies her request. However, she is taken aback when the client reveals that her son possesses 15,000 euros in bonds, which he offers as collateral. Next, Severio finally invites Jeremiah to his home, unaware of the moneylender's deceitful nature. Upon seeing Rosalba, Jeremiah pretends to be a family friend and becomes captivated by her youthful beauty. Severio proudly talks about his daughter's victory in the beauty contest, unknowingly sparking Jeremiah's interest in the prize money. To everyone's surprise, Rosalba confesses that she selflessly donated all her prize money to charity. This infuriates Jeremiah, who believes that acts of charity should only benefit loved ones. Meanwhile, Gino, Jeremiah's partner, keeps a watchful eye on an elderly client, Sylvia. It turns out the money Sylvia sought for surgery was intended for buying lottery tickets. Moving on, Jeremiah becomes more involved in Rosalba's family matters, even influencing the choice of wedding souvenirs. He insists on porcelain figures that Rosalba dislikes, but her parents, who depend on Jeremiah's financial support for the wedding, side with him. At home, Rosalba notices her father's sadness and realizes that he's hiding something. Right then, Severio reluctantly admits that he cannot afford her wedding because he owes money to Jeremiah. Hearing this, Rosalba suggests canceling the wedding as an alternative, but her proud father strongly disagrees, seeing it as a humiliating solution. As the wedding draws near, Jeremiah glances sadly at the chosen wedding souvenirs. Just before the ceremony, Rosalba's parents approach him in distress. Jeremiah assumes they want to extend the repayment time for the debt, but to his surprise, Rosalba's mother explains that they need his tailoring skills urgently because the strap on the bride's wedding dress has broken. Because of his perverted nature, the old man willingly agrees to help and asks Rosalba's mother to wait outside. Without wasting time, he enters Rosalba's room and closes the door. While fixing the torn strap, his behavior becomes inappropriate, causing discomfort to the young girl. She asks him to stop what he is doing, but in response, Jeremiah offers to reduce her father's debt. Rosalba bargains for a 10% discount, seeking to accept all of his requests. Desiring a closer relationship with the beautiful Rosalba, Jeremiah compromises and lowers the debt to 12%. Hearing this, Rosalba reluctantly agrees to fulfill his request and provides him with intimate satisfaction. Following this encounter, both Rosalba and Jeremiah appear emotional and tearful as they gaze at each other during the wedding. Gino, noticing their interaction, suspects that something has transpired between them. In the next scene, he informs Jeremiah about their old client Sylvia's gambling habits. He reveals that her son has lost all his bonds, rendering it impossible for her to repay her debt. Upon hearing this, Jeremiah resolves to eliminate the woman as he sees no other solution. However, when Jeremiah and his men go to confront her, they discover that Sylvia has already escaped. The next day, a new client named Bellana visits the tailor shop on behalf of a successful businessman named Montanaro. Bellana presents a proposal demanding €500,000 for a plumbing equipment project for a hotel chain. Jeremiah typically avoids dealing with such large sums, concerned about the risks involved. However, Bellana's claim that the investment will double in a few months triggers Jeremiah's greed, and he agrees to consider the offer. He is given 48 hours to make the decision, or else Bellana mentions approaching his rival, pirates. Later, while fishing, Jeremiah shares the offer with Gino, who speaks positively about the company and suggests investing in it. In the following scene, we see Gino and Sylvia together, revealing that Gino was the one who helped her escape. The next day, Gino and Jeremiah visit Montanaro's company's office, where they are presented with favorable terms and guaranteed interest returns. After the discussion, the lawyer suggests celebrating the deal in the company of nude women in the bathtub. However, this displeases Jeremiah, and he makes an excuse, stating that the deal hasn't been finalized yet. In reality, he isn't interested in readily available women at all. It is the control over women through manipulation that excites him. One morning, Saverio arrives at Jeremiah's office with the devastating news that his wife passed away from a heart attack the previous night. They proceeded together to the funeral, where Saverio, in addition to mourning his wife's death, worries about the expenses associated with the ceremony. During the funeral, Jeremiah offers his condolences to Rosalba. She realizes that the mean-spirited man is displaying concern because he wants something from her. Back at home, when Rosalba's husband walks away, Jeremiah approaches her and musters the courage to ask if she has fallen in love with him. He confesses his strong feelings, but Rosalba rejects his advances. She reveals that she is pregnant, and the news of her pregnancy caused her mother's fatal heart attack. The old man wonders about the father of the child, but even Rosalba is unaware of it. Despite this rejection, Jeremiah persists in being a constant presence in Rosalba's life. He meets her frequently and persistently asks her to express words of love, even if they're not genuine. In exchange, he promises to forgive her father's debts. His unwavering pursuit is driven by his deep longing for someone to care for him and show him love. Meanwhile, Sylvia decides to try her luck at a poker game and surprisingly wins a significant amount of money. Filled with excitement, she sends her grandchild to Jeremiah with a bag full of cash to clear her debt. This overjoys the cunning man, and he expresses his gratitude by offering chocolate to the grandchild. However, the young boy rudely refuses the gesture, leaving Jeremiah confused and saddened. In the evening, as Jeremiah is spending time with his mother, Rosalba unexpectedly appears at the door. He is shocked and loses his composure when the girl begins to seduce him. She claims to love him, despite acknowledging that the age difference is unusual. Hearing these words for the first time in his life, Jeremiah feels as though he can conquer the world. They then become intimate and spend the night together. The following day, Jeremiah informs his mother that he is making a $1 million deal and will be expanding his wealth with Montanaro. However, his mother disapproves, doubting his financial abilities and fearing they may lose all their money like his father. Driven by youthful enthusiasm, Jeremiah disregards his mother's concerns. He sees himself as a grown man with a prosperous future alongside a lovely woman. The next day, Jeremiah visits the bank and withdraws all the cash from his lockers at once. He transfers €1,000,000 to the company as an investment. Afterward, he tries to locate his beloved, Rosalba, but sadly, she is nowhere to be found. While continuing his search, he arrives at Gino's trailer and notices Rosalba inside. Seeing them together breaks Jeremiah's heart. He can't bear the betrayal, realizing that all his hopes of love were mere illusions. Saddened, he returns home, and on the way, he notices representatives from Montenero's company, with whom he made the $1,000,000 deal. To his surprise, they are dressed as Roman soldiers, raising suspicions among the moneylender. Jeremiah stops his car and confronts them at gunpoint. They confess that they are not genuine businessmen, but mere actors, acting under Gino's guidance. In a surprising turn of events, it is revealed that Gino orchestrated the entire plan. Fed up with his boss's despicable behavior, Gino decided to leave Jeremiah and start a new life with Rosalba. After learning all of this, an enraged Jeremiah rushes to Gino's trailer, but finds no one there. In a fit of anger, he shoots at the empty bed before returning home. Meanwhile, Rosalba says goodbye to her father and embraces the opportunity for a fresh start. Gino is thrilled, as he can now pursue his American dream of creating a happy family and enjoying a luxurious lifestyle. Unfortunately, Jeremiah's sorrow doesn't end there. In the last scene, when he returns home, he discovers his mother's lifeless body. During the funeral, nobody visits him except for his father, who silently gives Jeremiah €50. The movie concludes with Jeremiah holding the money in his hand, overwhelmed by a profound sense of loneliness resulting from his greed and rude behavior.